Alright guys, in the last video I told you guys here, we're going to need some extremely bullish news here to pump the Bitcoin price to the upside, and we basically just got that. This is not a coincidence, I mean it is a big coincidence, but I didn't set this up, I didn't predict this, but in the last video I told you guys here, the government has to come in, they're gonna have to start printing money again to push the Bitcoin price really to some higher levels, and we basically just got that here today, and people don't really understand how big this news is, but I'm gonna explain you guys why this is gonna be huge and why it's gonna pump the Bitcoin price. Okay, let's get into it. So basically the president announced that every American citizen is going to get here about $2,000 here in tariff dividends. Now, basically, the president set out these tariffs here on other countries, and countries had to pay these tariffs, basically these taxes, because the president actually wants to encourage that the US is going to start manufacturing again, so producing in the US itself. He's trying to make things outside the US more expensive, so that creates incentives for companies to move to the US. But basically, because he's been collecting this quote-unquote tariff dividend, basically the strategy is going to be that he's going to be giving back a big part of that here to Americans, about $2,000. Now you think, that's very nice, you know, president is giving money to people who are struggling, but this of course is going to be purely inflationary. We know that the dividends are also inflationary, but we're not really going to talk exactly about the economics and how it exactly works. And the president, he has a good reason to put out tariffs and to get people to come back to the US and start manufacturing in the US. But the reason why this is going to be so hyper bullish for Bitcoin, because this is basically going to set a standard here for presidents to give money to the society, to give money to the struggling people. We know that about 60% of Americans, they're struggling with money. They're living paycheck to paycheck. You know, inflation, of course, is spiraling out of control purely because of basically the COVID crisis here. We got all the money printing, and that's still causing inflation right now. People have generally lost trust in the currency. All of that is going to add up to inflation, to things like stocks being pushed to the upside. But this is going to set a bad standard here, where apparently the Americans are right now going to get, again, more free money that is going to be, again, inflationary, because people are not working for this money. They're just getting free money. And basically, this is going to start potentially a loop where the government is going to have to keep people more and more money, and people are expecting more and more money from the government. It's not really a good thing when the government is just airdropping money. So regardless of how it is paid, if it's paid from tariffs, if it's paid from taxes, regardless, it is all just people getting, again, their own money back, going out and spending things that they didn't actually produce. So it's going to be inflationary. Why this is going to be so good for Bitcoin, and I told you guys here in the last video, I went over it. I told you guys the Bitcoin price is a little bit boring now, but the fact that it is going sideways, and has been going sideways, you know, it hasn't really done a whole lot in the last couple of months, that still doesn't mean that the system is fixed. And this again shows you a big crack here in the system, that the politicians, the government, the president, basically relying here on giving people free money to make them happy, which is never going to end well. And again, we know here when the government's giving out free money, we had this insane, massive rally to the upside. Bitcoin went here from 4,000 all the way to about 64,000 US dollar. So because of this, we're already seeing a small pump here to the upside on Bitcoin. And I have actually a long position right over here opened. I added a little bit more to it. We are currently testing as well right over here this trend line. So that is very nice. By the way, I'm trading on Blofin, and this trade, it also is posted inside my Telegram group. If you want to join it, I have a link in the description to my website. All the information is there, how you can actually join here, the private Telegram. But I have this trade open because I think that this is going to be hyper bullish here for Bitcoin. So the president is going to give out money, $2,000 here in tariff dividend. And again, it doesn't really matter how it is paid out. Is it paid by taxes? Is it paid by people? Is it paid by companies paying these dividends? In the end, it's going to create incentives for the government to give more money here to the population, and the population is now expecting that presidents are just going to airdrop them free money whenever they're struggling a little bit, and it's all going to create a loop here of more and more inflation. So that is basically what is happening here. And that's also here what Max Kaiser is saying here, saying the money printer go brr, brr, brr. Now, the thing is, the national debts are already increasing. I think it's increased in this presidency about $2 to $1 trillion. So all the money, it's pure a Ponzi scheme. It's all inflationary. It's all fake money. And there was also a statement here that just came out here a couple minutes ago where the president said he's going to pay off the national debt with whatever is going to be left. But again, the national debt went up about $1 trillion here since he actually got into office, maybe even higher. So he's not going to be able to have $1 trillion at all. So it's going to make no progress in this presidency. Again, you're going to have more inflation. You're going to have people being airdrop money, and you're going to have the national debt again being much and much higher. So again, this is also what Alex is saying here. The last time that the president here dropped the stimmy checks, Bitcoin went 10x, Ethereum 20x, and Solana 5x, and NFTs and meme coins went up. So is again talking here about $2,000, and it might not be a single event. It might be multiple events where he's going to airdrop this money. So do what you want with this information, but I think that if he's going to follow through with it, and the people are going, and the investors are going to see that again, the currency is going to be again devalued, is again going to give a reason to buy Bitcoin. Because what else are you going to be doing? Are you going to hold the pound? No. Are you going to hold the euro? No, because they're also probably going to create a bunch of money because they want to have weaker currency. So you're basically left only doing one thing, that's Bitcoin or maybe gold, but can't really use gold for payments anyway. Going here to the next thing here, we have here the son of the president saying that he's a Bitcoin maximalist and he predicts Bitcoin will surpass $175,000 this year. Could be if if your father is going to print a lot of money, then we might get there. But I don't really take this serious. This guy's been in here just like a couple years, maybe 1 or 2 years. He became a Bitcoin maximalist, probably bought it at this high level. I've been in Bitcoin here for a very long time, all the way back here to about 2016, about 9 years, and now these guys are making wild predictions. I honestly, I could see Bitcoin going here to about $200,000. I mean, it is possible for the end of the year. We're going to have again very, very good news, but the prediction is all just made out of air, and I'm really not really going to take that too serious. Now, last thing I'm going to talk about here is the Bitcoin Volatility Index. We're seeing Bitcoin Volatility Index very, very low. We're not seeing any very clear spikes. Now, it is normal here for the volatility index to actually go down over time because the Bitcoin price, it becomes bigger, more volume, less volatility, and more institutional investors, less retail. So yada, 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 it. So that's very normal, but we can actually see the volatility is so low that I would still expect a spike to happen. And especially if we are going to go still hit those higher levels, then that spike would kind of line up with what we've seen in the past. Just one more spike to the upside. But you can see the volatility goes down. So if you think people are saying, oh, Bitcoin is so volatile, it tends to go down. In 20 years, it's going to trade like gold and like currencies anyway. So, that's basically the chart here. So anyway, you want to trade here on Blofin, I have a link in the description. Check out my website as well. And of course, hope to see you guys here in my next video. Bye-bye.